Alright, so we're going to continue on to Chapter 2, Section 4, solving multi-step equations. And one thing I want to mention is a process that you can use to solve most any equation. So any equation you're encountered with, these are generally the steps that you're going to want to follow. We're not going to necessarily be doing all of these today, but from here on out, this is the process you're going to want to follow. So the first step is always to simplify using distributive property in order to eliminate parentheses. And that's mainly going to be our focus today. The second thing you want to look for is if there's any like terms that you can combine on either side of the equation. You want to take care of those next. Third step is to get the variable on one side. So we haven't looked at any equations like this yet. We will next section. But in some cases, the variable is actually on both sides of the equation. So our goal is going to be to get it just on one side. The fourth step is to use your inverse operations to isolate the variable, which is mainly what you've been doing with all the two-step equations we've been working on. And then finally, you always want to check your solution. So I'll bring this out as we work on various problems so you can practice working through these steps. So the main focus of this section is going to be the distributive property. So some equations we encounter have parentheses in them. So an example would be something like this, where you have a number or variable outside of a set of parentheses where inside something is being added or subtracted. And what you can do to simplify this is distribute the variable or the number inside of the parentheses and to multiply. So this means A times the quantity of B plus or minus C. So you go ahead and multiply A times B and get AB, and then A times plus or minus C, which would be plus or minus AC, depending if that's a positive or negative. So here's some examples of that. If I have 2 times the quantity of x plus 3, I distribute the 2 to the x and get 2x. And then 2 times positive 3 is positive 6. So I write that as plus 6. In this example, I'm multiplying the quantity of 2x minus 5 by negative 4. So I carry this sign with it. Negative 4 times positive 2x is negative 8x. And then negative 4 times negative 5 is positive 20. So I write that as plus 20. So let's look at an example in which this is required. So here in this example, we're asked to solve this equation. 7x plus 2 times the quantity of x plus 6 equals 39. So referring back to this process, our first step is to simplify using distributive property in order to eliminate parentheses. So we want to get rid of these parentheses first. So just go ahead and bring down the 7x for now. And then we're going to multiply positive 2 by everything inside the parentheses. So positive 2 times x is positive 2x. And then positive 2 times positive 6 is positive 12. So we took care of step 1. Step 2 is to simplify by combining like terms. And there are like terms in this equation, 7x plus 2x. So we can combine those together. 7x plus 2x is 9x. And work from there. The next step would be to get the variable on one side. Well, that's already done for us. Notice x is only on one side of the equation. There are no x's over here. So then we move on to using inverse operations to isolate the variable, get it by itself. So x is being multiplied by 9 and 12 is being added. So we need to do the opposite in the opposite order. First, take this 12 away. Whatever we do to one side, we do to the other side as well. 9x is equal to 27. X is being multiplied by 9, so we do the opposite. We divide both sides by 9. These will cancel, leaving you with x is equal to 3. And that's your final answer. So let's take a look at another example. In this example, you'll notice the number outside of our set of parentheses is a fraction. And there's a few different ways that you can take care of this. So first, let's just go ahead and eliminate our parentheses by distributing, multiplying 3 halves by 3x. 3 halves times 3x is going to give us 9 halves x. And then 3 halves times 5 is going to give us a positive, so I write plus 15 halves, and that's all equal to negative 24. At this point, what you might want to do is go ahead and turn these fractions into decimal. In this case, 9 halves is a terminating decimal, 4.5. And then same with 15 halves is a terminating decimal, so we can turn those into decimals. That might be your best bet in this case. From here, we solve for x. So again, the first step is to take care of the parentheses. Second step is to simplify by combining like terms. Well, we don't have any like terms here, 4.5x plus 7.5. No like terms. The fourth step, getting the variable on one side, it's already the case, so now we use inverse operations to solve. First step would be to subtract 7.5 from both sides. It's going to give us negative 31.5. We have 4.5x on this side. And so to eliminate the 4.5 so that x is by itself, we divide both sides by 4.5. This will cancel, leaving me with x is equal to negative 7. And that would be your final answer in that case. So when you encounter parentheses in your equations, your best bet is to distribute through, to simplify, and then just work from there. So why don't you go ahead and try these, and then we'll go over these in class tomorrow.